Hello, I am Ines Garcia, your real estate agent in South Florida, and I will take you through the buyer's journey one step at a time. Before we start, I just want to introduce myself briefly. I am an architect. I have an MBA from the University of Miami, and I have been doing real estate for the past 24 years in South Florida. Today, we're going to talk about the 5 steps you are going to take in your buying process that are very important that you are prepared and have your expectations set right. These steps are the financing, the wants and needs, the house hunting process, the offer and contract phase, and of course, the final day of getting the keys to your home. But first, let me go over 3 important changes that have recently happened in the real estate industry. First, the mandatory signed buyer's agreement. Before we take you out to see properties, we are obligated to present you a document that needs to be signed stating how much compensation we are expecting as real estate agents, representing you as a buyer. That compensation can still be paid by the seller. But if the seller is not willing to pay it, it will be your responsibility. Second, compensations are always negotiable. They have always been and they will always be. They can be part also of your offer when you are interested on buying a property. And third, from now on, no commission can be posted in the MLS. So if you have any more questions or want to go deeper into this, I would love to have that discussion in detail with you. And then now, how are you going to be paying for your property? You could pay cash, which would be fantastic, but if you have to go through a lender, try to get a pre-approval. That's a deeper study of your finances, of your personal circumstances that will give a lot of peace of mind to any seller when you present an offer. Once you know you are going to be financing your property, it is important to have a conversation with your lender about the program that better fits your needs. There's a lot of misunderstanding about the FHA program or the first-time home buyer program. It is a fantastic program, but it has a lot of limitations on the properties that could qualify for that program. So have that conversation with your lender and let us know upfront what kind of loan you are going to be applying for so we can help you determine if a property qualifies or may qualify or not for that program. Maybe you know, but there's a difference between applying through a lender directly or through a mortgage broker. Depending on your circumstances, one or the other may be a better choice for you. Anyway, I would suggest that you talk to several people, several lenders, several banks, and get a good understanding of the type of programs they offer, the interest rates they currently have, and if there's any program that applies to you particularly that could help you get a better deal. For example, there is the Heroes program, or there are grants from the cities, or there are grants from the banks or special programs that banks offer. So it is super important that you go through the process and find out as much as you can about your options. I can't talk enough about the importance of being careful when you are applying for a mortgage. That is the most important part of your buying process if you are financing. So it is mandatory that whatever you do that could touch your money or your credit, to discuss it with your lender first. Don't think about buying or leasing a new car, changing jobs, miss a bill payment, open lines of credits, move money around accounts, because then the bank is going to request you explanations about every single dollar that you have in those accounts, or make a major purchase. Actually, it is fantastic if you have the time to do it, to discuss with your lender month ahead what you need to do to be very well prepared for the financing process. That will save you a lot of headaches, and you will start with a good foot forward in your buying journey. I leave this page blank for a reason because I really want you to go over the homework of deciding what is a must and what is a would like to have. Sometimes people get confused with what they want, and even if you have an unlimited budget, it is almost impossible to get everything you want in your new home. So, if we know upfront what are your must have, what are your deal breakers, what are the things you are not going to be accepting, and the ones you would like to have. For example, if you need a fourth space because you need to put an office, a 3-bedroom property with a den could do the work. So let's understand. Let's have that discussion very well up front. And most importantly, that if you are a couple, that both of you agree on the must-haves. Some people say, the garage is a must-have, and the other person says, you know what, we can live without a garage. So that's super important. Separating your wants from your needs. Do your homework. Be flexible. Be open, and let's have this discussion. Once you are out looking for a property, be very inquisitive. Is that the word? About the area you are going to be buying. For some people, schools are a must, and for some people, they are not. For some people, it is more important that it is close to the activities they enjoy, or that it is close to family. So investigating the area so you make the right decision in real estate still, year over year and time over time, location, it's a must. Ask many questions, ask your agent, ask the sellers, ask your friends, ask your neighbors, many questions. But be mindful that just a professional can give you the professional advice. The rest may be opinion. Keep an open mind. I always tell a story about, I always said that I didn't want to buy a property with neighbors in the back or a 2-story home. I was showing a property to a buyer. I was not thinking about buying at the time, but I had it like in the back of my mind. And I walked into a property that my customer didn't like, and when I saw that house, it had neighbors in the back, but you couldn't see them, you couldn't feel them, you couldn't hear them. It was a 2-story, but the price was too good to let it go, so I decided to buy that house. So when you are looking out for a home, be open-minded. Take a lot of pictures and notes. Once you are looking at many properties, they start blending in. So make notes, take pictures, and it will be a good reminder of the property and the features in that property that you like. And be ready to make an offer. That's why we can stress enough the importance of being pre-qualified or pre-approved, actually, to buy your new home. When the time of making an offer comes, it is super important that you put yourself in the seller's position. So make your offer competitive. If it is cash or finance, it makes a difference. If it is finance, how much down payment you are offering, how long the loan approval period takes, it's important. The closing timeline, how much deposit, that shows the seriousness of your offer, and what is included or excluded. There are some things that you may not care for that would be great for the seller to be able to take with them. And so it's the offer, I always say, it is like a dance. You have to go and give and take and move to the right, to the left to make it happen. So with our experience, it is important that you understand that certain terms may not be worth the aggravation that could cause a seller. Now I'm going to go briefly about once an offer is accepted. It is much deeper than this, but I just want to give you an overview of the process. Once you get an offer accepted, you will have to put a deposit in an escrow account. That money is protected until the day of closing, and if you comply with all the terms and all your obligations in the contract, your money should be safe. You have to do your mortgage application as soon as possible. There's a timeline in the contract for that. You have the right to do a home inspection and decide if this is the property you want to buy, or if there's any surprise, something you may want to negotiate with the seller or renegotiate. You need to obtain insurance, and the bank will order an appraisal, and you can make your offer contingent on that appraisal. If the appraisal comes below the purchase price, then you can walk away, you can negotiate with the seller, you can split the difference, you can decide to pay above the appraised value. And that's very important to understand the appraisal per se. You need to study the appraisal or have someone study the appraisal for you to see if it was a fair appraisal or not, because believe it or not, between two appraisals there could, or two appraisers, there could be a difference up to, I have seen up to 8% difference. So that's something that you may want to look at it deeper when the time comes. So moving along, probably 1 month have passed or has gone by, and you are ready to your closing date. So the final steps are getting your loan approval. That normally I recommend to leave a gap between the final loan approval and the moving date at least of 1 week, because that will give you some room to make certain decisions, or to, so you are not rushed. That you know today for sure that you are packed and the bank needs more time. So it's important to make it part of the offer or the contract that you have certain leeway there. You will need to sign a closing disclosure with the lender that states that the final numbers are very similar to the numbers they provide you when you applied. We will do a final walkthrough to make sure that the property is in the same conditions it was the day of the inspection, or that certain repairs, if they have been agreed to, have been performed, and you would need to wire the funds to the title company, and that would be it. Your closing day is here. I will briefly also go over certain questions that are very frequent in the buying process. Is one of them is how long the buying process takes. It may take anywhere between 21 days to 45 days. It's the standard. Normally 30 days is the most common number that we see. If it is a cash deal, you can probably do it in a week or 10 days. If you are pre-approved, probably you can even do it in 15 days. But there are certain things that may delay the process, like the time it takes to obtain information from third parties, associations approvals, or whatever, may delay the process. But normally you could count on 30 to 45 days as the standard. What percentage of the purchase price you should expect to pay as closing costs? It may be anywhere from, if it is a cash transaction, probably in the 2% range, and if it is a finance transaction, it could be 3, 4, 5, depending on the type of loan, and if you are paying points up front or any other charges that you may have due to the loan. It is necessary to have a real estate agent. Well, probably I'm not the most qualified person, or I am the most qualified person to tell you that it is highly recommended. You want someone watching for you, looking for your interest, that will be on your side, that will treat you as a family member, and that will make sure that your money, your investment, that you are protected, and even that can protect you from your own emotions. So I would always say that it is not mandatory, but it is very good to have, or almost a must have. What happens if the home inspection reveals problems? It depends on the kind of problems it reveals. If it is something expected due to the age of the property, or whatever we knew up front, like the age of an AC or the age of a roof, or any of that, that should have been taken into consideration at the time of presenting the offer. If it is something unexpected, yes, normally we can go back to the seller and try to negotiate it. How can I tell if I am getting a good deal? That's a very interesting question. To tell you the truth, getting a deal is not that easy. Most of the times, you are going to be ending paying market value. We can do our best, or your agent will do their best to get you the best possible price. But in a competitive market like Miami's, even in these times that are not the most pressing sellers market, there's always activity, and every now and then we see a deal. But most of the times, to tell you the truth, I'm gonna be super upfront. You are gonna be paying close to market value. What are the most common mistakes first time buyers make, and how can they avoid them? One of them is, many times first time home buyers get impressed by finishes and oversee more important or long term potential issues of a property, about, let's say, the layout or the potential of growing or the backyard or the location, because they love the kitchen or they love the flooring. Those are things that can be changed, but the basics, the bones, the infrastructure, no, it cannot be changed. So that's one of the things I have seen that could be could be mistakes that a first time home buyer may make. But that's what we are here for, to show you the things that you should be looking at. What insurance is needed when buying a house? A house requires the comprehensive insurance, but also it may require flood insurance. And even nowadays, if the property is not in a flood zone, many insurance companies and even some banks are requiring flood insurance. Condominiums are different, because in condominiums, like, the structure is normally, the insurance for the structure is normally included in the homeowners association payment or the condo association payment, and you will need only an interior insurance and liability. So it depends on the property. How can buying your home affect your credit? Once you apply, of course, it will be a hard inquiry. Check with your lenders if you applying with different lenders to get the most accurate number that they can offer. Check if you have a time frame that you can apply that will be taken, won't hit your credit 2, 3, 4 times. My understanding is that if you do it within 15 days, it shouldn't, but it will show as a hard inquiry. And once you have a mortgage, of course, it's going to be a new debt in your account, but it will also be important for credit purposes, that you have not only lines of credits or credit cards or car payments, that you have a mortgage, which is a more balanced kind of account for credit purposes. And what should I do if your offer is rejected? You can present it with different terms, or we can just keep looking. We will probably, as agents, tell you or advise you the best way possible what would be the best or the most competitive offer that you can present based on your circumstances and your ability. So if you have any more questions, of course, let me know. I would love to hear from you, and good luck in your home search. Talk to you soon. In the comments below, you will find the buyer's guide. And if you know of anyone looking to buy something and want more information, share this video. That will be my pleasure to be able to help someone else.